The hum of fluorescent lights echoed through the near-empty high school library, casting long shadows over the stacks of books and quiet study tables. It was almost 10 p.m., far past the closing hour, but still, he sat there, hunched over a spiral notebook filled with equations and scribbles. His name was Marcus Hayes, a 17-year-old senior with calloused hands from after-school work shifts and eyes that held the weight of dreams bigger than his small town could contain. Marcus wasn't supposed to be there. Mrs. Langford, the school librarian, had forgotten her scarf in the reading nook and returned after hours to find the doors unlocked and the lights still on. What she found instead was Marcus, head down, pencil tapping, lips murmuring formulas in a determined whisper. "You're not in trouble," she said softly, startling him. Marcus jerked upright. I was just studying," she finished for him. "I can see that. But why here? And why so late?" He hesitated. Truth wasn't always easy to give, especially when it risked pride. But something in her gentle tone gave him permission. "It's quiet here. My house isn't. My little brother cries all night, and the walls are paper thin. Mom's got 2 jobs, and well, Dad's not around anymore. If I want a shot at that scholarship, I need to focus." Mrs. Langford didn't say anything for a long moment. Then she walked over and sat beside him. "What are you working on?" "Advanced calculus," he sighed. "Trying to prep for the regional academic decathlon." They studied together for a while in silence, she offering occasional insights, he soaking up every bit of guidance like parched earth. When she finally left, she didn't scold him for being there after hours. She didn't report him either. Instead, the next evening, she left the back door unlocked. And the evening after that. A quiet understanding had formed. For weeks, Marcus studied late under her silent care, and something extraordinary began to grow, not just his knowledge, but his belief in himself. He began mentoring younger students during lunch, especially those who struggled, who reminded him of himself. One of them, an 8th grader named Jordan, started to open up about his own troubled home. "I want to be like you," Jordan whispered one day. "You don't give up." Marcus smiled, the words hitting deeper than he expected. Because he had almost given up. So many times. Then, just 3 days before the decathlon, Marcus came home to find an eviction notice on their apartment door. The rent hadn't been paid. His mom, overwhelmed, had broken down. Marcus stood there, torn between responsibility and his dreams. That night, he didn't go to the library. He stayed home, comforting his brother, feeding him dinner, letting his mother sleep for the first time in days. He was ready to forfeit the competition, believing family came first. That was his next move. But someone had been paying attention. Mrs. Langford, noticing his absence, called. When he explained, she didn't lecture. She just said, "Be at school tomorrow. No matter what." When Marcus arrived, the principal was waiting, with news that would change everything. Mrs. Langford had nominated Marcus for a local community spotlight scholarship. Word had spread. Teachers had written letters. Neighbors contributed. And quietly, behind the scenes, funds had been raised not just to cover the rent but to set up a temporary assistance plan for the family. His next move, choosing love over ambition, had led to both. Marcus went on to win the regional decathlon. He got the scholarship. He went to college, the first in his family. But what he remembered most wasn't the moment on stage or the applause, it was Jordan, years later, sending him a letter from his own college dorm. "You taught me that doing the right thing isn't about sacrifice. It's about choosing people, and somehow, that choice gives back more than you ever gave." Marcus framed the letter. It hung beside his degree in the tutoring center he opened in their old neighborhood, a safe space with open doors and late-night lights. Because sometimes, being caught studying late isn't about breaking rules, it's about breaking cycles. And the next move, however small, can change everything. The heart of humanity isn't always in grand gestures. Sometimes, it's in the quiet compassion of a librarian, the perseverance of a young man, and the echo of one choice rippling through many lives. And that is where hope lives, between the pages of resilience and the ink of kindness. Always one move away. But Marcus's story didn't end with college. As he settled into university life, balancing part-time work with an intense engineering curriculum, he started volunteering at a local after-school program. The kids reminded him of home. One in particular, a 10-year-old named Angel, clung to him. Angel had lost his older brother to gang violence and carried a silence that was too heavy for someone so young. One rainy afternoon, Marcus found Angel alone after everyone else had left. "You okay?" he asked. Angel didn't reply. He just nodded slowly and took out a crumpled drawing. It showed a superhero, thin, tired-looking, but standing tall in front of a group of kids. Angel had written, "Thank you Marcus," in bold letters at the top. "I don't have powers," Marcus said, touched. "You don't need them," Angel replied. "You show up." That moment etched itself into Marcus's soul. He began to dream not just of personal success but of building something lasting, a place where kids like Angel and Jordan could always find light, even on their darkest days. Years passed. Marcus graduated, built a career in civil engineering, and started saving. With help from friends, professors, and a growing network, he finally launched his nonprofit, the Next Move Initiative, a center that offered academic support, meals, mental health counseling, and mentorship to at-risk youth. The opening day was emotional. Mrs. Langford, retired but glowing with pride, cut the ribbon. "I always knew you were meant for more," she whispered, holding back tears. Marcus gave his first speech to the crowd gathered in the community center's gym. "We are all just one decision away from a better future," he said. Sometimes that decision is staying up late to study. Sometimes it's helping someone else. Either way, we rise by lifting others. The crowd erupted in applause. But it wasn't fame Marcus sought, it was the ripple. The ripple of compassion that Mrs. Langford started by simply not closing a door. 10 years later, the Next Move Initiative had branches in 5 cities. Marcus's story had been featured in national media. He had met presidents, spoken at universities, and even returned to his high school to deliver a commencement speech. As he stood on that old stage, he saw Jordan in the crowd, now a high school teacher. Angel was there too, studying social work. Marcus smiled and said, "Every late night, every tough choice, every ounce of kindness, it all adds up. And every one of you, sitting here today, has the power to change the world. Start with one move. Just one." And somewhere, maybe in a library after hours, another kid heard those words and began their journey. Because the next move always matters. And kindness, when passed along, never really ends. It just keeps going, from heart to heart, light to light. That's how we change the world. One late night. One bold choice. One next move.